We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
Well, what a night in Virginia. We keep saying it. When we fight fire with fire, we win. And we are winning all across the United States, in state houses, in courthouses, and now in the court of public opinion. But what is at stake is putting a stake in the heart of the Trump administration by taking back the House of Representatives and taking back the United States Senate. MAGA, dare I say, they're losing at their own game. They're on the defense and they're scared.
Maximum warfare everywhere, all the time, in connection with the redistricting battle that Republicans launched. I stand by it. You can continue to criticize me for it. I don't give a damn about your criticism. Our message to Florida Republicans is F around and find out. If they go down the road of a DeSantis dummy-mander, the Florida Republicans are going to find themselves in the same situation as Texas Republicans, who are on the run right now.
Meanwhile,
from the Virginia State Supreme Court ruling the process to redraw that state's congressional maps is unconstitutional. They had a referendum on this statewide. Shannon Bream is here to join Instant Reaction. Shannon, welcome to our coverage. Good day to you. A couple of things here just come to mind. Barack Obama was out there campaigning to make sure people were into this issue and would get out. It passed, but not by a lot, but it did pass. And it would have effectively, Democrats believe, made it 10-1 Democrats to Republicans. I think the current figuration is 6-5.
Right.
So this is thrown out. Is that the end of the line? Shannon.
It sounds like it, because this was an issue of the Virginia Constitution. It was a state law issue, and critics of this referendum have said from the beginning that Democrats were on thin ice because they did not follow procedures as outlined by state law and state constitution. And what the court ended up saying here is that violation irreparably undermined the integrity of the entire voting referendum, said it makes it null and void. And for that reason, they say the congressional district maps issued by the court in 2021, the old maps are the ones that they've got to use for the upcoming congressional election. Now, this was a state matter. Virginia's Supreme Court, the highest court in that state, it's a Commonwealth, they'll remind you, made this decision. Now, it's not out of the realm of possibility that challengers to this decision would try to find some federal hook for it, to try to get to the Supreme Court to say that there is some U.S. constitutional violation in the way that this ruling was made. It's a very tough ask, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do it, because what have you got to lose at this point?
Well, what they have to lose is face. I didn't have time to pull the Hakeem Jeffries soundbite of Ren right afterwards, and he went to the podium and he said, F-A-F-O, and we've got you. And then for like 48 hours, there was news coverage saying, well, the Democrats really flipped the script of redistricting on the president. Then this week, the president won those races in Indiana to try to put that back in. You had Tennessee do what it did. You had the Supreme Court just last week. And so now I sort of feel that the Virginian Democrats irritated everybody, made everybody mad, and then they lost. And so what they could lose is, one, self-respect maybe, but also funding and the seats that they thought they were going to win.
Yeah, and the momentum, because as you mentioned, all of those things are such huge developments. That Calais decision out of the Supreme Court last week triggered what we just saw in Tennessee. Alabama's going to make a run at it. Louisiana has to. South Carolina may be in the mix. So while Democrats have seemed to be gaining sort of a net advantage in a lot of what they've done in the redistricting, and they point to Republicans, you guys started this in Texas, those decisions, and this one today that just landed, they are big wins for Republicans.
Been covering this. It went through via voters, but a bigger voice today in that system. Mark Meredith is there with the details. Mark.
Harris, I sure am. Good morning to you. Today's ruling from Virginia's Supreme Court is a huge blow to Democrats. They're trying to match Republicans in redistricting efforts before the midterms. But the court today said Virginia Democrats rushed the process, ignored rules for constitutional amendments. Moments ago, we heard from President Trump, who posted on Truth Social that this was a huge win for the Republican Party and America in Virginia. The Virginia Supreme Court struck down the Democrats' horrible gerrymander. You may remember it was just last month voters narrowly approved Plan plans to give the legislature power to redraw maps. Democrats claim victory shortly after announcing plans to change the map, taking Republican-leading districts from 4 down to 1. Moments ago, we heard from Congressman Richard Hudson, whose group led the effort over the lawsuits to stop the measure. Hudson writing, Democrats' corrupt scheme to rig the map has been crushed in court, restoring fairness and protecting the future of the Commonwealth. This is a big setback for Virginia's new Democratic governor, Abigail Spanberger. During her gubernatorial campaign, she said she did not favor redistricting, but once in office, she strongly supported the effort. Also a major blow to House Democratic leadership. They are eager to catch up to redistricting in red-leaning states like Florida and Texas. Multiple states across the South are now in the process of considering redrawing their own maps. What we don't know here is what's the next step going to be. Moments ago, we heard from the Democratic Attorney General of Virginia, who said that his team was just now reviewing the decision, but we don't know if this is something that would make its way up to the Supreme Court. Harris.
Mark, thank you.
Spankety, spankety, spankety. You know, here it comes. Tell me how this worked out, Hakeem.
We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
Yes, you are correct. But what you didn't realize is that we were coming for you just as hard, bro. Oh, right now you've got Democrats across the country just putting their face in their hands. The media, oh no, tell me this didn't just happen. Tell me this didn't happen. Let's just recap the week, shall we? Hey, I'm breaking for the weekend. I'm going to an event this weekend with Robin. She's waiting for me at the hotel. And I'm like, this is going to be a sprint show. We're going to be a little bit fast here today. So let's just recap. We had the Indiana destruction of the Democrats, of rhinos, just completely MAGA eviscerated Indiana, which you know what's coming. And then we had Tennessee when they're all screaming and going crazy and racism. And then Florida, we had the lady with, the bang danklers, fang planklers. She's out there making all her noise.
Our democracy. This is a violation of the Constitution. It is. It's a violation of the Constitution. I'm out of order.
So she's running around screaming, and they can't even catch their breath because they realized the maximum warfare was going the other way. I mean, day after day, it's like body blow, uppercut. If you guys remember the video game from back in the day. Body blow, uppercut today. The uppercut came on Friday morning and delivered a complete knockout punch. I don't want to get too crazy. I don't want to gloat. Well, yeah, I do want to gloat. I don't want to get too over. Yeah, I'm kind of confident right now. Understand, even with all this redistricting craziness that's going on, it does not guarantee a win. I should put that a disclaimer. Does not guarantee a win. Because we still have to go out and win these races. Even though, you see what's happening in Florida and Tennessee and Alabama, soon to be Georgia. Although you see it, we still have to perform. We still have to get out there and just rub their faces in it like a dog that pooped on the carpet. You have to rub their faces in it. Maximum warfare just began. It didn't end. We're just beginning. And this is something each and every one of you now has to put on that armor. You got the armor of God on. Now we got to put the MAGA armor on too. We got to get ready to go in and just wipe these people out, metaphorically speaking. I don't want to pick anybody. We're advocating violence here. We'll leave that up to them. Let's make them completely irrelevant. Let's just make them a party of nothing, a party of no voices. I think they're starting to realize it. Here was part of the sobbing. I believe this is CNN.
Fallon, walk us through this ruling. Why did the court ultimately strike it down?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court here, the Virginia State Supreme Court, is striking this map down on procedural grounds. They are saying that the mechanism that the state legislators used to call the special session to actually draw this map was invalid under the state's constitution. Now, of course, this session was called by the state Speaker of the House,
But in Virginia, in order to call a special legislative session like the one that was used to create this map, either the governor needs to call it or a 2/3 majority of both houses of the state legislature need to call that session.
So what you're saying is they cheated. They cheated and got caught. Here's what the rules say you have to do. Hey, F the rules. We're Democrats. We do what we want. And we're gonna go ahead and do it. We don't need rules. We're just gonna beat up on the Republicans and do it. And they didn't even see it coming.
This Supreme Court is upholding a lower state court's ruling saying that that mechanism for the state speaker to call this special legislative session was invalid. And so therefore, the map that they produced during this legislative session was invalid.
Frankly.
Yeah, I mean, look, so Republicans are celebrating this as one might expect. Essentially, they say that they're now on offense, that according to the Republican chairman of the House campaign arm, Richard Hudson of North Carolina. But the question then becomes, and I think Fallon was getting at this, is that this is now the 2026, we're getting close to the end of what the redistricting shuffle will look like.
I was seeing these faces all day today. At just grown-ass people just sitting there going, we got nothing. We got absolutely nothing. We got our butts handed to us. Let me show you this one. I posted it earlier. These were two libtards on CNN. You'll love this. I said, laugh. Well, you know what LMAO means. Libtards are fooked, and they know it. The last few weeks have been brutal for them. And I love what this guy wrote. He goes, when liberals realize that the redistricting in Tennessee will result in the election of a Republican black woman, and look at their faces. Just, oh, did I spring some news on you there? I'm sorry. I was in front of what I needed to talk about. This is really gonna make you go, what? So you heard all the fang dangling and clangling in Memphis. It's racist. We're burning Confederate flags. We're doing all kinds of stuff in Memphis. It's incredible. It's so racist. We don't even understand how the Jim Crow stuff is even happening. It just keeps happening. We got to stop all this.
Representative Justin Pearson, if he looks familiar, it's because in 2023, he was actually expelled from the state legislature for leading a gun violence protest, but voters here sent him right back. What's your reaction to this redistricting effort? You and your colleagues are going to be there on Tuesday. And then how are state Democrats responding, considering the Republican trifecta you're working with?
I mean, we're organizing, we're fighting, we're speaking up against what is likely to be one of the most racist actions taken by this legislature. We're going to see nearly a dozen U.S. congressional seats at least taken away by Republicans who are trying to change the maps and create more racist maps. And so we're...
I don't want to hear any more from him, because what I'm going to show you, I found out this morning, and I was like, oh my... So it's racist. It's racist. It's racist, right? What they're complaining about is that there's going to be no black representation in the Memphis district. None. They've taken it away. Well, wait till you see who's going to be the likely person to win. Imagine the surprise America will have when they find out that the Democrats are in a hissy fit about Jim Crow because the current white billionaire representing Memphis. Yeah, first of all, you got to swallow that. Currently, they're fighting racism while they've elected a white billionaire, because AOC says there's no such thing as a billionaire, but he happens to be representing Memphis, the black district, the white guy. They're fighting redistricting because they think it's racist, but they have a white representative. Wow. But what is really weird, even worse than that, is that the woman who will now win is a black woman. A black woman will be representing Memphis, most likely with the redistricting. She just happens to be the wrong flavor. She's a Republican. Make that make sense. They're fighting racism to keep the white guy, the white billionaire, in office, and they don't even recognize that the black woman is the woman who will be in office most likely. How do you reconcile that? How do you burn Confederate flags? How do you burn the American flag? How do you get all kinds of riled up and want to cuss at cops and go absolutely stark raving nuts? Do people not know that the white billionaire currently, as of today, represents the black district they're freaking out about? I wonder how many of you knew it. You probably thought, oh my gosh, it's just, yeah, I want to win, but I don't want the people to have no representation from people who look like them. Meanwhile, this guy has sat there for 20 years. He has been there for 20 years and nothing good has happened. Memphis has been a crap hole. Yet, progress is coming because a black woman is going to be elected. So, I posted something earlier. Can somebody tell me who's representing the black Republicans in these districts? Are you saying there's no black Republicans? With all the rioting and stuff that's bound to happen, all the Jim Crow, does Jim Crow not affect black Republicans? Nothing these people say makes any sense whatsoever.
2028, though, imagine the floodgates opening, because you can see various states on both sides trying this again. New York, for example, maybe Virginia will give it another go. The list goes on. And the question is, I believe it was under the Rucco case, does Congress step in to try to put guardrails on the redistricting fight? And right now, there's not the...
Congress can't do anything. They can't agree on anything other than raising their salaries. So you expect Congress to get together between now and November or October and do something. Hold on. Let me check my notes. To help the Democrats. That's what he just said. Maybe we can get together and Congress. Well, then again, we can't trust Republicans. They may get together and try to help the Democrats. But then again, not that close to an election, because that would be their ass.
Incentive structure to get that done on Capitol Hill, certainly not under President Donald Trump. The hope that I have heard from Democrats is that if they are going to fight back, if they're willing to fight back and go toe-to-toe with the Republicans on redistricting in some of these states, perhaps it will force both sides to wake up and say, okay, we have to do something to rein that in. That might be perhaps a little naive thinking, though.
I just happen to think of something. You guys, some of you guys are older, maybe as old as me, can remember the Three Stooges. And you remember, Curly was always the guy that they were making fun of, and Moe was the head guy. And Curly, and Moe would just have his hand on his head, and Curly went, and he just hold. What do you mean fight? What do you mean fight? There is no fight to be had. There's nothing you can do. You can't even go to the Supreme Court because the top Supreme Court is going to align with the Virginia Supreme Court. You got nothing. You get to go home and wallow in it as you watch state after state after state do whatever they can to completely eradicate Democrats. And that's even going to be in South Carolina, which I know Clyburn. Watch this sad sack of people.
Translation, there's trepidation in South Carolina to take advantage of the Supreme Court ruling like other southern states are.
Yeah, listen, because what you would probably have in South Carolina is no black representation, right? You would have seven Republicans. Clyburn would probably be not in Congress. He's got the 6th district. So yeah, this is a pendulum swing, right? And the idea is that, every action often has an equal and opposite reaction. And are we going to get into the situation where, as you said, every 2 years there is some different map? And it sows, I think...
Wait. The only way it would happen every 2 years if somehow every 2 years the Democrats somehow find a way to crawl out of the gutter and take power again. That ain't going to happen. We're about to put you in Twilight Zone where you'll never, take power ever again. God forbid, God bless us, if we get California's mayor of Los Angeles and governor of California. These people, I don't know, they might just jump off the Malibu pier at this point, or just all head to Mondami and sing together collectively.
Distrust and disengagement among voters, right? Particularly in some of these states where it isn't even the voters that are making the decisions, it is elected leaders of one party. And so this, I think, has set off
elected leaders of one party making the rules? I don't think so. Did you not just see that it was today the Virginia State Supreme Court, which is comprised of, 7 people. One of the guys, and we'll ask SV, one of the guys was actually appointed by Mark Warner, a Democrat. They spanked you. They took you out behind the woodshed and just whooped that you-know-what. And you can tell by the way these people are talking, they're grasping because they are finally in no man's land, nowhere land. They've never been in this area before. They never, and it's not going to stop. See, as I've said many, many times ad nauseum here, nobody can understand what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know tomorrow if Trump's going to do X, Y, or Z over in, Iran. Oh, speaking of Iran, you know what quietly just went under the radar today because of everything happening with with this stuff? Did you miss this? Did you miss that the oil price right now is $79? How can that possibly be? How can the oil prices have dropped that far and nobody's talking about it? Everything that could possibly happen at this point is converging like the perfect storm over the head of the Democrats. And there's not a single pollster out there who could have foreseen what was happening or foresee what's going to happen in the future. That industry is dead as long as Donald Trump is president. You can't even pick up a single poll and go, what the hell does this mean? Oh, people are mad because the gas prices are too high. Like I said yesterday, that's a quicksand Jesus. That you're putting all your prayers in quicksand Jesus because that's going to sink. And when those numbers go down and you can't talk about that, what are you going to do? Well, what about eggs? Oh, no, we can't talk about eggs. Tobacco? Anything? Nothing. Nothing.
Real arms race where we could see a House that doesn't really represent America. It doesn't really look like America, both in terms of diversity of ideas or diversity culturally.
When did we get to the point? I don't know. I'm 65. I never got my ballot and said, let me find a person who looks like me. When did that start happening? I don't care what you look like. What are you going to do? Make it work for us. Yeah. Look like me was never, ever, ever a quality or attribute that I cared about. And for some people who did say, I wish people would look at me, maybe that should have been like, number 15 on the list. I'm not looking for somebody with a big giant afro who swears at cops and, has made his own persona on social media and he became a new Tupac because he was a prep school guy and then all of a sudden he wants to be Mr. Thug. I don't care. I don't care. Maybe that's the problem. You people have been looking at people who look like you who have no clue. Jasmine Crockett, clueless, gone. And then AOC, which we will get to. Here's a good one for you. You put so many people that look like you instead of people who can think like you. How about that? How about people who have your best interest at heart? If you think that taking money from somebody else is in your best interest, you're crazy. You're a loser. Wear it. If you think, as of right now, that we're watching people go crazy simply because somebody that looks like them won't be, well, actually will be in office, but they don't, I don't know, vote like them. This is a crazy world, and it's only going to get crazier because this maximum warfare that we are now, I'll play it.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You know, usually in boxing or something, it's the guy getting beat up that's sitting back. Right now, you got so many people going, we just won again? I can't. Man, come on, slow down. It's Friday. It's Friday afternoon. Can we pump the brakes? I don't know how much more of this we can take. No, got to give you more. You got to see what's coming. We're going to do some more over the weekend. Might blow up some Iranian nut jobs, but we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it moving. My job is to keep you upbeat. My job is to make you understand that this man made a big, giant, colossal mistake.
We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
Like I said yesterday, did he think going out there and announcing to the world, I'm about to do this, we're going to drop bombs on your head, we're going to do all these different things, this maximum warfare every day, all the time, that we'd all sit back and go, oh, okay. And even if he thought we would, did he think Trump would? Did you think, Hakeem, that President Donald J. Trump would be like, huh, Hakeem's coming for us? It's not going to be good. What are we going to do? I bet you when he saw that, he's like, watch what happens. And I love it. So today, after all the stuff that you saw there, they all took to Twitter. And well, actually, the first person that took to something was President Trump. President Trump said, huge win for the Republican Party and America. And in Virginia, the Virginia Supreme Court has just struck down the Democrats' horrible gerrymander, Make America Great Again, President Donald J. Trump. Bingo. President loves it. Governor Abigail Van, what I was going to call her Cruella, Abigail Spanberger, more than 3 million Virginians cast their ballot in Virginia's redistricting referendum. And a majority of Virginia voters voted to push back against the president. See, that's their problem. They keep blaming everything on Trump. This ass kicking you just took by the Supreme Court had nothing to do with Trump. But because you can't let people realize you couldn't even work within the parameters of your own law, somehow you had to put President Trump in the first sentence against the president who said he's entitled to more Republican seats in Congress with a temporary and responsive referendum. They made their voices heard. I am disappointed by the Supreme Court of Virginia's ruling, but my focus as governor will be on ensuring that all voters have the information necessary to make their voices heard this November in the midterms elections, because in those elections, we, the voters, will have the final say. These people love their flowery exits. And then the Attorney General of SV's dear state here. Today, the Supreme Court of Virginia has chosen to put politics over the rule of law by issuing a ruling that overturns the April 21st special election on redistricting. It was a 1 of 2, so I'll show you number 2. This decision silences the voices of the millions of Virginians who cast their ballots in every center of the Commonwealth, and it fuels the growing fears across our nation about the state of our democracy. Read my full statement here. How about I just say no? Because everything you're saying is complete crap. Every single person in Virginia woke up this morning and will go to bed tonight, knowing that they can still vote. No votes anywhere in the state have been changed. Every single person can continue to vote. That's something I think people need to really, really pound and let people know. There's no vote that has been changed. Hakeem Jeffries, he said, the decision by the Supreme Court to overturn the will of more than 3 million voters will not stand. Good luck. Over 3 million Virginia citizens. You see the recurring theme here. They keep trying to tell you all these people voted. Their votes in free and fair election, yet the state Supreme Court has chosen to invalidate their voice, disenfranchise them, and violate their due process rights. You're saying a lot of constitutional stuff there. Go ahead and try to sue. The decision to overturn an entire election is an unprecedented and undemocratic action that can't stand. And then, watch this. MAGA Republicans, how do we get looped into it? Your Supreme Court of your state did it. We're all sitting back in the bleachers wondering what's going to happen. We didn't do anything. MAGA Republicans have adopted voter suppression as a strategy. Who suppressed? As also evidenced by far-right extremists on the Supreme Court gutting the Voting Rights Act to open the door to a Jim Crow-like attack on black representation across the American South. We're exploring all options to overturn this shocking decision. No matter what it takes, House Democrats will win in November so we can help rescue this nation from the extremism being unleashed by Donald Trump and the Republicans. Our fight is not over. We're just getting started. Really? You're just getting started? Is that what you're telling people today? I mean, because, I don't know, for the last couple of weeks, you've been saying this kind of crap.
We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
I've told you many times on this show that Democrats can't exist as a party unless people have really short memories. How the hell do you write? We're just getting started. No, you said I've got you on tape. FAFO. You're gonna find out if you mess with us. So you got found out. And now we're just getting started. Seriously, bro? Who else is in here? Who else? Nancy Pelosi. Again, blaming the president. The president and Republicans failed the American people, and they know it. That's why they're trying to rig the elections in their favor. The Virginia Supreme Court gave a vile assist to MAGA's plans, but Democrats won't agonize, will keep organizing and mobilizing to win. Just what you've been doing. I've been seeing protests, no kings and no queens, and all the different protests across the country. We've been watching Antifa. We've been seeing all your insane stuff that you've been doing. You're just getting started? What the hell was all that we've been watching? What was all these protests and riots? If you're just getting started, you know, Nancy, when you say we'll keep organizing, what do you mean? You've been organizing. It's the only thing you guys do. The only thing you guys do is go into buildings and cry and scream. Well, what are you gonna do? Oh, well, we're gonna keep doing it. At least there's one guy who's being honest. Because when you think about what they're going to do, there's one guy who's telling you what they're going to do, and that's that moron Hassan Piker, who probably has more influence than all of those politicians combined. He wrote this: the Virginia Supreme Court denied the results of the redistricting referendum. SCOTUS gutted the Voting Rights Act, and Tennessee carved up the last Democrat district, destroying black voter power in the state. Quote, those, and he should have put quotation marks around this, those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. What you saying? It's inevitable right now that there is going to be violent revolution. It is inevitable. So that's a call to arms. That's telling you what's coming. or what they want to see coming. By the way, that quote that he used, but he didn't put it in quotation marks, was from the guy in 1963 who got a bullet put in his head. That quote, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable," was said by John F. Kennedy in 1962. And so he's basically, well, not basically, he is saying it's time to get violent. He followed that up with another one, and he said this: democracy is a pressure valve for the public. This kind of systemic disenfranchisement will inevitably lead to chaos. Okay, gotcha. We accept. Every one of us here in the South, we accept. Let's see how far that goes. I bet you won't see it in Florida. You see, one of the things that Democrats should have realized over the last 10 days is that we've had it with your bullshit up to here. We don't have any more to give. Not one. You guys have been doing crazy stuff over and over and over, and we looked the other way for some reason. And we just kept being the patsies. We were the Washington Generals to you guys being the Harlem Globetrotters. You got your way over and over and over. And one of the things you may not be watching is what happened in Indiana is more of a bellwether than even the Supreme Court rulings. You see, what happened in Indiana was an uprising of people who were basically said, we're over it. We're mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore. And you all got surprised by it. You were blown away. You could not believe all the polls, everything you read. Trump's got a 75% disapproval rating. You thought you had this, but you didn't count on real Americans standing up. You didn't count on real Americans who are fed up. So if you think, Mr. Piker, that you're going to bring your crap down into the South, into Alabama, into Tennessee, into Florida, and you think that you're going to bring that commie crap here, you ain't ready for what's going to happen to you. I can guarantee you the good old boys in the South ain't going to put up with it. Go ahead, try to do some of your craziness in Louisiana. There's a giant, giant bayou that you guys won't be able to swim out of. There's a giant lake here in the middle of Florida called Okeechobee that people disappear in. All these kind of things that you guys keep threatening. Oh, it's about a revolution. All right. Now, just like that other idiot, you know, your boy Hakeem, just like him, you're warning us. You're telling us in advance that right now we need to get ready for violent revolution. It's inevitable. Thanks for the warning. We'll be waiting. And you won't like what's behind the door. Trust me. I know some people who I thought I was armed. I know some people who have basic armories. You don't want to do that in the South. Keep that in Seattle. Keep that in Oregon. Keep that crap in New York City. You come down here with your craziness, you're going to get found out. Now, I'm not saying that to be antagonistic whatsoever. I'm just trying to give you a warning. That warning is, we've had it. We're done. It's our time now. You need to get used to it. Or not. Either way, I don't care. I'm done caring. I'm done even tolerating you people. Not even this much. Say something as a troll, Beth and Roaring Rage and SV, boom, they're going to delete you. Come on our Twitter, boom, you're gone. We don't care anymore. That line is drawn. It's irrevocable. And at this point, you guys can kiss our collective buttocks. And if that doesn't work, duck. Bring it. I am so ready. And I'm sure many of you are as well. All right, SV, what's going on up in your state, bro?
Man, it's hard to follow that, Barry. Give me a little segue, huh?
What's going? The people in your state go crazy. I feel for you, man. I feel for you.
Well, earlier today, I think I heard this after the Virginia Supreme Court dropped its ruling. Let's see. Here we go.
Tell me. Oh gosh. Oh, that's too much. That's too. Oh god. Oh god.
They dropped $70 million on that too. That's $70 million that was just wasted. So that was another aspect.
Wait. They dropped 70 million forcing that referendum through?
That's what I was reading earlier. Yeah. So that's money they won't have for the midterm. So, they're going to have to dig deeper in those alligator arm pockets of theirs or steal more from people.
Well, I mean, they got billionaires, there's Oprah and Beyonce and because it worked so well last time.
It's funny you say something about the billionaires. AOC, she claims that billionaires didn't earn it.
Yeah.
And the guy Clay Travis, the CEO for Outkick.
Yes.
He goes, I got a simple question for AOC. Did Oprah or Beyonce, two black female billionaires, earn their $1 billion or not?
Or LeBron. The list is quite long. Oh, by the way.
Yes.
They're black. I mean, if there was Jim Crow, how could we just easily off the top of our heads not name millionaires, but billionaires? I mean,
are they not voting? Did we take away their rights?
It's a really bad state in the Jim Crow era, crazy, absolutely crazy. Man.
So anyway, this thing in Virginia, it's done because the Virginia Supreme Court is the final say. It can't go any higher. This is it.
Can't go. You guys can't. They can't take it to the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of America.
No. Apparently, I'm reading here that the Supreme Court is the final authority on Virginia constitutional questions. So Temu Obama, he's claiming they're going to fight it, but they don't have any leg to stand on. So it's just wasted time.
What the hell do you fight at that point? I have no idea.
They're fighting for air, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what their next moves are, but they've already maxed out New England. There's no representation for Republicans in any of that blue bloc up there. They better shift everything to California because if somehow they lose that, they're done. I mean, they're done forever. I don't know what they would do.
Yeah.
But
I'm feeling very optimistic that Spencer Pratt is going to win. He's going to be the mayor. The ads he's dropping. I mean, Bass and the other lady, what's her name, Nidelin, whatever. They can't oppose the ads because it just clearly shows what they haven't done. Like they failed. Everything that he puts in those videos shows how they failed, and they're so clear cut. You just and it's amazing how. I watch them. I'm saying like, yeah, we're back to common sense, normal behavior. I mean, that's what we have to get back to, not this crazy ass liberalism.
Oh gosh, it's just, I sat back yesterday and I was like, what can they do at this point? And the only thing they can do is somehow get real people to the polls. And like I said, if they're losing the black vote, if they don't have the people who aren't supposed to be here, all the things that they propped up their votes, it's just not there. I don't know how they're going to make that up. The Panicans, I don't know. Republicans jumping ship.
I thought about it earlier. I'm thinking, okay, so they're claiming it's racist and all that. Why don't they think about coming on a platform where they're actually going to fix something, start trying to win votes that way. Go back to the old days when they had to win the person's vote, because the Trump TDS is no longer working, even for Democrats. I think they have fatigue. They're all getting tired of it. So maybe go back to saying, maybe we should go back and start talking about healthcare again or something that makes sense to Americans with really gas prices.
Epstein.
Like yeah, Epstein. I told you, Barry, it'll be back.
my prediction, and I'm going to stick with it until somebody can
Okay.
show me otherwise, is
Writing it
I
down.
believe the Democrats have literally 3 weeks. Let me tell you why. May 31st is obviously Memorial Day, big patriotic day. And May 31st is the unofficial start of summer. So I just want to lay this out for you. May 31st is Memorial Day. The world, I mean, the country is going to be blanketed with patriotism. Your voices won't even come out. June 14th, literally 2 weeks after that, is President Trump's birthday and Flag Day,
80.
and it's
Yeah.
going to be where they do the UFC thing, right?
I'm looking forward to that. Yes.
So you got the UFC thing. All the oxygen will be sucked out of the room. July, that's June 14th. Then 2 weeks after that is the 4th of July. And the 4th of July will be nothing but patriotism and the F1 or Indy race going around the Capitol. Now you're at July, and late July, the NFL camps and college camps for football open up. All the eyeballs go like this. Nobody's going to be watching CNN. Nobody's going to be watching CBS and all that crap. Hopefully you guys still tune in here. But having broadcast football myself, I know how many eyeballs immediately, July and August, just go, boop, got to watch this. And, you know, us down here with, we got our season tickets. We're going to be going down. And so you're talking about, you got 2 or 3 weeks to try and come up with a cohesive message, because it's going to be over on Memorial Day weekend. And that leads, once college football and NFL start, it goes right through to the midterms. You can't start a message against all of that. You're going to be drowned out. There's nothing there. And I'm pretty sure sometime between all this, Iran ends.
So that would be fantastic.
What are you going to do?
Back to the Epstein files.
Epstein
that's
files
their go-to.
with nobody watching. And trust me, I being involved in the football stuff for quite some time. Watch how X changes. Watch how Facebook changes. People love their football, especially where. I'm asking you, especially where do people geographically, where do people really love their football?
Oh, down south.
Yeah.
Right?
You think they're going to be worried
That's
about
where I'm headed.
It's over.
Yes.
Every single weekend there'll be 106,000 people in Tennessee and 100,000 in Michigan and Ohio. It's done.
Yeah.
I called it before. I'm calling it again. You're not going to get that kind of messaging. People aren't going to be tuning in. Watch, you'll see.
Yeah.
Watch,
I see. I mean, I'm looking forward to my pool opening up, get a tan, hang out, play more pickleball outdoors, and it's definitely time to migrate out and touch some more grass. Absolutely.
Migrate out and touch grass. All right. Wow. I'm already an hour.
All right. I'm going to segue you to your commercial.
Well, I'm not even going to run a commercial because I got to get out of here. So I'm just going to go right to content. But I have, I'm going to run the intro. I have President Trump, his interview that he did last night at the reflection pond, and then he spent 20 minutes today talking about mothers. And so I've got content beyond that, but I'm gonna run with the reflection pond thing, and then we can take a look at that right after the intro. All righty?
Sounds good.
All right.
See you soon.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man who they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I just want to let you know the sound is working, but this is just President Trump's motorcade pulling up to the reflection pond. It's funny, they look like they're in an Indy race and how they're zigzagging, warming up their tires and such. But look at them. I don't know why they approached in that way, but that's how they approached the reflection pond. This was about 7:30, 8 o'clock last night, and a lot of people didn't see it. So I just want you guys to take a look at it. Hope you enjoy it. He goes after an ABC reporter pretty hard here in terms of her TDS that gets exposed. But I've never seen the Secret Service and the Beast take this kind of formation into something. And so they slowed it down. That's not me. This was the video that they posted. And I don't know why they did it this way, but it's pretty interesting. I don't know if they were trying to show something, but obviously his car is in the center there, and the other cars are bringing him into the pond, and they're just taking all kinds of weird formations here. Very interesting. But he's going to cut over to the left here in a second, and they're driving to the reflection pool, but they slowed this down. That's not me. See that? See how they just cut over like that? Look at that. I don't know why they did that. I thought it was pretty cool, actually, how they decided to move over in formation, but that's what they did. Here we go. I see somebody said he's testing the surfacing, but I don't know if they were actually on the surface of the reflection pod. Maybe they were, not really sure. But here he's obviously meeting with the contractors, and then he's got Mark Wayne Mullen behind him and Tom Homan behind him as well. Here he goes.
A job that nobody's ever seen anything like it. It was a good idea we came up with, and we're doing a sealer and then some very intricate work with modern materials, and is going to look better than it did in 1922 when it was built. It was built in 1922, and it had granite pavers. It was granite, various materials on top. The size is it's almost, I guess it's over 2,000 feet, 2,400 feet long. That's taller than any building in the world, if you lay it on its side, and very big. The surface was bad, the leaking was bad. These workers are the most fantastic people. You know, Doug Burgum, he's in charge of it. He's the head of Interior and done a great job. And I was getting complaints from people saying that it wasn't good. This is a number of months ago, and I called Doug, and he agreed. They spent a fortune. President Obama spent $38 million, closed it for 2.5 years. It was a construction nightmare, a construction mess. When they opened it, it didn't work, and it leaked. It was a disaster. And but I know how to build, and we worked with Doug and Interior and Parks, and these guys have been fantastic. So we're putting a beautiful surface on. It's called, the coloring it's like a swimming pool, but industrial strength, much stronger.
I wouldn't normally interrupt the president, but SV just sent me something. This is really interesting. So that weaving that you see, so many people said it was for his protection. They didn't have the actual beast. They had 3 or 4 identical vehicles, and nobody. And part of that was that nobody, if you were a sniper or something, would know which vehicle had the president in it. They're completely blacked out, and you wouldn't know which one. And so when they were weaving, that was one way, and then when they cut over, you couldn't tell which vehicle he would be in. So that's very interesting. It's also very scary. It's very scary because you're right there by the Washington Monument, right? And you're telling me well, I guess the bad guys can be pretty much anywhere.
I think you're going to see something that's amazing. Very interesting is we took they took 12 garbage trucks full of garbage that was under the water that people didn't see, but they knew it was there. It was a real mess. And you're going to have basically industrial strength. It's going to last, I would say, 50 years. It's going to last a long time. And you'll have no leak, guaranteed no leak. And it's going to be something very special. And it's going to be a beautiful color. The color was never good because basically it had a gray stone underneath, whether it was the concrete or the granite. It was a gray stone. And now we actually picked the color. It's called American Flag Blue. And so you can't do better than that. And so we had estimates to fix it of about $355 million. And it was going to take 3.5 years. You can see by the size of it. And so we're going to be able to do it for about $1.8 million. And it's going to take 1 week. And we'll be finished, I guess. I'm going to give them a little more time. Let's give it 2 weeks, but a lot of the hard work is done. The beautiful work is now. The application is really the fun. The sidewalk surfaces, they're fixing that too. They're having it repointed, refixed. It's going to be actually much better than new. It's much more beautiful than it was new because it never had the color people wanted, but now it's going to have the great color. So it's going to be good. It's going to last many, many years, and it's going to have no leaks. Going to have no problems. It's going to be clean and beautiful. And I want to thank Doug Burgum, the job he's done, and we're working on some other jobs that are great. We're working on the back terrace of the Lincoln Memorial. That was supposed to be the main entrance, but they built 2 roadways behind it, so it never had access to the Potomac, and we're working on that. We have a beautiful plan for that, the Lincoln Memorial. And we have other things. Also, I guess you want to talk about what you're most proud of is underneath the Lincoln Memorial. Do you want to discuss that?
Well, underneath the Lincoln Memorial, it's built on essentially arches or stilts like a cathedral. So there's an undercroft 80 feet high that's only been filled with junk and graffiti from back when it was built in 1922. This summer, there's been a long vision, but with President Trump's leadership and support of donors, they're opening a undercroft museum, which will tell a great story, hold great documents coming as part of the 250th anniversary. So 15,000 of the 50,000, there's a 50,000-foot cavern underneath the Lincoln. 15,000 will be opening as a new museum on June 23rd of this year as part of Freedom 250. And again, we've never had a president like President Trump who's cared more, invested more, or put more time and attention into everything about them all. When he drives around, if he sees something, he calls us. We call the amazing National Park Service. They're on it. They fix it up. That's why we're fixing over 19 fountains around the city. That's why we've eliminated over 1,000 graffiti sites. Under President Trump's leadership, we've taken care of 82 homeless camps that were in the city when he was elected, making D.C. safe and beautiful. Crime is down, beauty is up, all because of President Trump's leadership.
So very big, thank you, Duncan. Great job. Your people are fantastic. The whole Department of Interior, the parks, have just been amazing, and the police. The police have been incredible. You know, we have a very safe city now. We didn't have a safe city when I first took second term. It was a disaster what happened, and we now have a very safe city. People walk around, they love it. Frankly, doing this would be no good if we didn't have a safe city, but the crime, I think it's down about 88%, something like that. And Memphis, too. And if you go down to New Orleans, we spent, I guess we're in the fifth month, and we have it down about 78%. It's going down to 90%. Memphis is way down. But D.C., I don't know, it's the capital. And we had a very, very terrible crime rate here. And it's down now. We're going to have it down. I think we'll get it above 92% down. We took 5,000 career criminals, people that were really, really bad. They came through the open border. I'm sure you guys love open borders. I don't think so. But they came through on the open borders. They came out of prisons and mental institutions. And they came all over the place. And it is horrible what happened. And they allowed this to happen to our country. But we got them out, and we had 11,888 murderers allowed into our country. We got them out. We got many of them out. We're looking for quite a few, but we got many of them out. And the crime rate is, as you know, the murder rate in the country is down to the lowest it's ever. It's down to, in 1900, 125 years, lowest in recorded history. And that's good. So we're very happy about that. And that goes hand in hand with fixing things up. So as Doug said, I heard 19 or a lot of fountains, about 19, maybe more than that. Lafayette Park is beautiful. I made that contribution. It's a pretty significant contribution. And Lafayette Park is being rebuilt. We have tremendous amounts of things going on around Lincoln. I think, to me, the most exciting of all is going to be the Triumphal Arch. We're going to build one of the most beautiful arcs in the world. If you look at Paris, in Paris, they have the Arc de Triomphe. It's their #1 tourist attraction, even more so than the Eiffel Tower. And we're going to have one that's more grand, even more grand, because that's one of, I would say that's the best right now. There are 59 Triumphal Arcs throughout the world, and this will be number 60. And many of them are very old. Some are 600, 700 years old. And they represented triumph, usually a victory, a military victory. But we are going to have one that's going to be, I think, superior to anybody else's. It's going to be a little bit larger and I think a lot more beautiful. So, and that's going to start, I would say, very soon. It was supposed to be built, you know, the circle by the bridge, by the river. It's going to be, I think it's going to be something that will be so special. It's been there like that. It used to be a dirt path. And it wasn't built because of the Civil War. Civil War got in the way. The Eagles are up. They were built later, but the Eagles are up. But they haven't been, it hasn't been built. And people, a lot of times, they'll be going over the river, the bridge, and they'll be saying, why isn't this built? And they've been saying that for way over 100 years. So you're going to have something built there. So we're really fixing up Washington, D.C. on a bigger front, even bigger front worldwide. Our military is unbelievable. They're doing an unbelievable job. We're negotiating with the Iranians. We have, you probably heard, we took our 3 destroyers and we rammed them through some pretty big stuff today, and we knocked the hell out of them. The destroyers weren't hurt in any way. The people weren't hurt, but they were firing at us, and we were firing back at them. And our firepower was a hell of a lot stronger than theirs, and they knocked the hell out of them. They took down a lot of small boats. You know, we call them small boats or fast boats. They're both small and they're fast, with some weaponry on the front. You know, this is what. So this is now replacing the Navy. They had a Navy 159 boats. They have none. Okay, they're all at the bottom of the sea. So they replace that with what they call the fast boat. It's a fast boat, big deal. It's fast. It's got a machine gunner in front. They've been knocked down. They knocked out quite a few of them today. Yesterday they knocked out 8. They average 8 a day. This is some group of people we're dealing with. So, you know, it's very simple. Somebody said, what's your plan? I said, the plan is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It cannot have a nuclear bomb, and it's not going to have. And they're really at the end of the line. Really are at the end of the line. Now, unless you guys feel differently. Now, these guys, I think, will say that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Would you say? We wouldn't feel very good if they did, because this, what you're doing and all the work that you do and that we do, it wouldn't look too very good after a while with these characters. We're not going to give them the right to have a nuclear weapon. There's zero chance. And they know that, and they've agreed to that. Let's see if they are willing to sign it. So do you have any questions, Liz?
Sir, Mr. President, can you talk about your meeting with President Lula earlier? Was there anything agreed
Yeah, I
on?
will talk about it, but you know, you have some of these construction workers that I love. I love because they all voted for me. I would say 100% or 99. I think 100. I think about 100. Yes, sir. Can we get those guys over here so they're not standing? We're on. Oh, there they are. I saw you over there. There's no way I'm leaving you out there, fellas. So who didn't vote for Trump? Anybody? Thank you. I think we're from Oklahoma. I would say that's right. We're from Oklahoma. We love you guys. We just said, you agree Iran cannot have... Yes, sir. I love that guy. Did you know they're... Are you from Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
So Trump won Oklahoma 77 counties. Yes, sir. I won all 77, right? Yeah. I won it in a landslide, like the election. But you know who second was? Ronald Reagan was at 56. I was at 77. And by the way, you have a very good basketball team.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I was watching the other night. But I may try and come to one of those games. I like your basketball team. These guys are fantastic. So they're doing the job. They're working hard. And they agree. Does anybody think Iran should have a nuclear weapon so they can blow you up? No. It's a very important thing that we're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
And oil is coming down, and the stock market today just hit an all-time high. You know, I was reading about doom and gloom. We had to do what we did. We took a little U-turn. We just hit the highest number in the history of our country, the stock market. And I said to my people, we're going to have to take a little U-turn and go to the lovely country of Iran and blow them up a little bit, because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they're not. We're not going to ruin you. These guys work so hard to make things beautiful. We're not going to let a nuclear weapon ruin it. So, thank you. Are you all from Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
How did that work out? They wanted super quality, right?
That's right. Yes, sir. We bring quality. Oklahoma brings quality.
We love it. He's doing a good job, Mark Wayne. You know, Mark Wayne could have been a senator for the rest of his life. Maybe could have been president. Who the hell knows? I don't recommend it. But he was your senator, and he wanted to do this. He wanted to work with a man named Tom Homan, who I'm sure you never heard of. But he's doing a job. So, Tom, how good a president is Trump?
Greatest president of my lifetime.
Yes, sir.
I got a question. Are you all legal?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Actually, from Oklahoma, the answer is probably yes.
Indian. Yes, sir. Choctaw.
So are you here pretty much until this gets finished?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Are you with the company, with the contract?
I'm with those two men behind you. Yes, sir.
That's good. You got a good-looking crew back there, fellas, huh? Yep. Thank you, sir.
I'm from
President, you are here against the backdrop of war in Iran. Why focus on all these projects right now?
You know why? Because...
Okay, hold on. Okay. This idiot reporter from ABC News, he just got done talking to all these guys and who are working on this thing, congratulating them, thanking them, and he turns and gives his next question to this ABC reporter. And this ABC reporter, in case you make sure you hear this, is she saying, hey, listen, with everything going on in the world, why are you worried about this? Listen to this answer as he completely eviscerates her.
We want to keep our country beautiful and safe. Beautiful also. This place was a disgusting place. It was Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and we had a terrible disgust. I don't know, you probably don't see dirt, but I do. And you walk down this pond, if you would have walked down, they'll tell you better than anybody. They had to take 11 or 12 truckloads of garbage out of that lake, out of that water, and it sat there for years like that. And that's not what our country is about. Our country is about beauty, cleanliness, safety, great people, not a filthy capital. It's such a stupid question you ask. We're fixing up the reflecting pond to the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and you say, why are you fixing it up? Because you can understand dirt maybe better than I can, but I don't allow it. This is one of the worst reporters. She's with ABC Fake News, and she's a horror show. She's saying, why would you bother fixing this up? Why would I bother taking 11 or 12 truckloads of filth out of the water in front of the Lincoln Monument? That's what made our country great. Beauty made our country, people made our country great. A question like that is a disgrace to our country. Any other questions?
Now, a normal person would quickly just put their head down and realize you just got completely bodied. You got completely destroyed in front of everybody for asking the President of the United States whether he could walk or chew gum at the same time. But then you realize what it's all about with these media people. They don't want stories going out. It's all about them. So the same person, watch this.
So we just took an unexpected trip with President Trump to the National Mall, where the president was showing off the reflecting pool, which is now getting a blue flooring. So I asked the president, why focus on all of these projects now amid the backdrop with the war with Iran and as gas prices continue to soar across the country? Mr. President, you are here against the backdrop of the war in Iran. Why focus on all these projects right now?
You know why? Because I want to keep our country beautiful and safe. Beautiful also. This place was a disgusting place. It was Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and we had a terrible disgust. I don't know, you probably don't see dirt, but I do. And you walk down this pond, if you would have walked down, they'll tell you better than anybody. They had to take 11 or 12 truckloads of garbage out of that lake, out of that water, and it sat there for years like that. And that's not what our country is about. Our country is about beauty, cleanliness, safety, great people, not a filthy capital.
What is the status?
It's such a stupid question you ask. We're fixing up the reflecting pond to the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and you say, why are you fixing it up? Because you can understand dirt maybe better than I can, but I don't allow it. This is one of the worst reporters. She's with ABC Fake News, and she's a horror show. She's saying, why would you bother fixing this up? Why would I bother taking 11 or 12 truckloads of filth out of the water in front of the Lincoln Monument? That's what made our country great. Beauty made our country, people made our country great. A question like that is a disgrace to our country. And
you would think somebody wouldn't want to post that. She took a video of herself saying, so this is what happened when I went out to the thing with Trump. And she played the part where he just really whacked her to her followers. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of self-craziness is this where you find it to be a badge of honor that you got absolutely destroyed by the President of the United States? Do you have no self-respect? Hey, everybody, this is the President of the United States telling me I'm a shithead. Watch.
Mr. President, I'm also with ABC News. Can I ask you
Fake
about
news.
the hantavirus? Have you been briefed on the virus?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us what you've learned in these briefings?
well, I think you're going to be told everything, and you already have. It's very much, we hope, under control. There was the ship and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow. We have a lot of people, a lot of great people are studying it. It should be fine. We hope.
Should Americans be concerned that it's going to spread? And how are you
I hope
going to
not.
get
I mean, I hope not. We'll do the best we can, yeah.
to get the Americans that are on
Go ahead.
Mr. President, detail your meeting with President Lula today. Was there anything agreed on between the two?
We had a great meeting with the president of Brazil. We're doing a lot of trading, and we're going to do some increased trading. We talked about tariffs. We talked about, they would like to have some tariff relief. But we had a very good meeting. He's a good man. He's a smart guy.
Mr. President, after these strikes, is the ceasefire with Iran still on?
Yeah, it is. It's they trifled with us today. We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle. I'll let you know when there's no ceasefire. You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran. And they better sign their agreement fast.
Could you give us an update on what is the latest in those talks?
No, it's going. The talks are going very well, but they have to understand if it doesn't get signed, they're going to have a lot of pain. They're going to have a lot of pain. They want to sign it. I will tell you, they want to sign it a lot more than I do. I think that's what you want to hear, fellas. Right? What you want to hear, a different tone. That's the only thing they understand. They don't understand it. We had 3 world-class destroyers go through the strait today. Any other country, under the circumstances, wouldn't have shot missiles at it and drones at it and these stupid boats that came at it. They got blown away in about 2 minutes. Their tanker got blown. You know what we did with the tanker? We didn't want to create an environment, so we shot out the rudder, and the tanker's going around, spinning around in circles. They should not have done that today. We thought they might. We didn't know, but we were prepared. They shot missiles. Every missile was knocked down. Every drone was knocked down, and the people that shot it are no longer with us.
Mr. President, has Iran officially responded to the one-page offer?
Well, it's more than a one-page offer. It's an offer that's basically said they will not have nuclear weapons. They're going to hand us the nuclear dust and many other things that we want. Yeah, they agree. But when they agree, it doesn't mean much because the next day they forgot they agreed. And, we're dealing with different sets of leaders. When you talk about regime change, they keep talking about regime change. Well, we got rid of the first regime, we got rid of the second regime, we got rid of most of the third regime, and then they say, "Oh, is that regime change?" I think it's the ultimate regime change.
How close would you say that you are to a deal right now with Iran?
Could happen any day. Could, and it might not happen, but it could happen any day. I believe they want the deal more than I do.
Are you aware of the FBI raid on Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas's house yesterday? Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas, she's a Democrat.
I'm not aware of it.
It was yesterday, not aware of it.
No.
Mr. President, is your trip with China still going ahead?
Yeah,
and which companies you
have a very good relationship with President Xi. We've had a great economic time. China's been great for us economically, but not for other presidents. But we've done very well with China. We're going to have a meeting with President Xi. It's going to be, I think, quite amazing. He's been a friend of mine. I've gotten along with him very well over the years. We have had no problem, and we've had no problem with China and Iran. Everybody said, "Oh, China, China." We've had no problem with China and Iran.
Have you spoken to Secretary Rubio since his meeting with Pope Leo, and did you ask him to pass on a message to him?
I spoke to him. I just said, tell the Pope very nicely, very respectfully, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So when he comes to their defense, also tell the Pope that Iran killed 42,000 innocent protesters who didn't have guns, who didn't have weapons. Tell that to the Pope.
Mr. President, there's a Christian pastor in China that's been imprisoned since October. I know that members of your administration have pushed to highlight the protection of Christians.
What's his name?
His name's Ezra Jin. Are you going to press President Xi on his release?
I've heard about it, but I will certainly look into it. Yeah. I'll look at it. I'll bring it up. Yeah.
The Court of International Trade.
I've gotten a lot of people out. I've gotten a lot of people out of different countries, including China. People that were hostages or held. So we'll take a look at that, including Pastor Brunson, as you know, from In that case, it was Turkey. So we've done a lot of that. I do a lot, and I don't pay $6 billion to get somebody out like Biden used to do and Obama. They give $6 billion to get some person out.
What's your reaction, sir, to the Court of International Trade's ruling against your 10% across the board tariffs?
Well, we were surprised. We had one very positive vote. We had two radical left judges that voted against it. So nothing surprises me with the courts. Nothing surprises me. So we always do it a different way. We get one ruling and we do it a different way. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars from tariffs, and we're taking it away from countries, frankly, that have ripped us off for years, and now they're not ripping us off anymore.
Mr. President, why was that suspended? Administration officials were talking about this being the next phase of the war.
Really wonderful leadership at place, as you know, Pakistan has been fantastic, and their leaders have been fantastic. The field marshal and the prime minister, and they asked us not to do it. We'll go back to it if we have to. They asked us not to do it during the negotiation.
Are you considering maybe going back to that now that gas prices are?
It could. Well, no, gas prices have come down today. Have you looked? They've come down very substantially today. The gas prices. You know what's happened today? Gas prices are way down, and the stock market is way up today. So gas prices have come down, and I saw today that they broke negatively. In other words, to our positive position, they broke our way very substantially. And when the war is over, gas will fall down at levels that you've never seen before. You'll be down to where you were, maybe even lower. We had it down to, I was in Iowa, and we were at 85, or about 85. What did you say? Yeah, we broke it. We broke it. We had numbers that nobody's seen in a long time. So you had $2 a gallon. We were down, I think, to $1.85, $1.90 in Iowa and a lot of other places. Outside of California, where California charges such a high tax on the gasoline, when you take that tax off, but California has a tremendous, I don't know if anybody knows, California was the third largest area for oil, and you were telling me, and Chris was telling me before, we're talking about California oil. California is like an oil, it's rich with oil. But stupidly, 15, 16, 17 years ago, people stopped drilling. It was third to Texas and another state, probably Oklahoma. But when this is over, I think you're going to see oil prices drop down to the levels where they were, and maybe lower. There's a lot of oil out there. And the stock market hit a new high. Nobody thought that was possible. Stock market today, for the 59th time since I'm president, hit a new high. And people that have 401ks, you guys have 401ks? Because you got to like me. Does everybody have a 401k? Because you got to like Trump if you do. Your 401ks, right? Your 401ks are through the roof. All right, one or two more. I want to look at the surface because I like the surface better than I like.
Why haven't you endorsed either John Cornyn or Ken Paxton?
I'll make a decision. Yeah, I'll make a decision.
When will you make your decision?
Maybe relatively soon.
Would you consider
I like them
on
both.
oil exports?
I like them both.
Sir,
Yeah.
would you consider export curbs on oil or jet fuel if supplies get tight?
I don't need them. We don't need them. And we have tremendous amounts of oil. We are not suffering oil. And again, ships are coming all the way where they used to go to Hormuz. They're coming all the way up. And we have hundreds of ships coming up to Texas, coming up to Louisiana, and coming to Alaska, filling up, and they're going back and making a lot of money.
With another project, you have repeatedly said that taxpayers would not pay for the ballroom at the White House. Why should taxpayers now be on the hook for $1 billion?
Well, they're not, because that's for many other projects. That's for projects having to do with safety in a certain section of the White House grounds. That's not all for the ballroom. And we're putting up $400 million to do the ballroom section of the ballroom. We are putting that up privately. I am doing it along with other patriots that love our country. But they want to do certain things militarily with respect to the ballroom, having nothing to do with us or having to do with the safety of the president. So having to do with a lot of things. But we are going to have a safe ballroom. It's under construction. It's ahead of schedule. It's right on budget. It would be 300 to 400 million that we're putting up, and a lot of that money will be going to safety also. But the House approved, or the Senate approved, I guess, or they're looking at approving. I don't know if it got approved yet, but they're talking about putting up a certain amount of money having to do with security at the White House and the East Wing. Yeah.
Will you commit to publicly releasing the amount of money that the private donors have?
Well, I have no problem with it. You're not supposed to, because it's done under a way where you don't have to do that. But I have no problem. They're unbelievable people. These are great patriots. They're putting up, it's the only place in the world you can give a $400 million ballroom. You put up the money, and they're unhappy with it. They think the taxpayers should pay for it. So this will be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world, and it'll be the safest ballroom by far anywhere in the world, and you won't have a fiasco like you did Saturday night 2 weeks ago.
Are you expecting to have the Atari jet by July 4th?
By July 4th, yeah, we think we're going to have it. Yeah, we do think we're going to have it. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you. Thank you, press.
Very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. This way. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you.
It's amazing to me that these people ask these stupid questions, and he gave us some information that we probably didn't know beforehand, as they've been complaining about this whole ballroom thing and saying that it's now going to be $1 billion. It's funny how they pretty much have left out the fact that all that money, the 400 million, is still going or being put up by he and his friends, and the rest of it is for some military installation, which we don't know about. Very, very interesting. But they really have nothing to say. I mean, you have a chance sitting there with the President of the United States, and you're talking about, can you walk and chew gum? Is this happening? Nothing real. And I don't know who poses these questions. It's just ridiculous. That's why, the second thing I'm going to show you is what he did at the Rose Garden today, which was a very, very nice ceremony. And I'm really glad he didn't really take any questions. Before I show that to you, is this going to work this time? Yeah, no, that's not going to work. So anyway, I had something I was going to show you. Well, not show you, but I wanted to talk to you about. Give me 1 second here to fix this so that these people remain happy, because I think this is what we have to do. Yeah, I can get it. I want to tell you about the Trump knife. You guys remember I used to market this Trump knife and people loved it. Well, it's back again. Let's see, here we go. Boom, there it is, the Trump knife. You remember this? Remember this? It's from a long time ago. We've been showing you guys this knife. Well, obviously, President Trump is doing such a great job. They're back, and they're back offering the Trump knife, the Trump red knife. And if you'd like this knife, it's pretty simple. You can just copy the QR code right there, and it's free. Let me say that again, because people have gotten this Trump knife and they can't believe that these Trump red knives are absolutely free. Just scan the QR code to get yours now. This is just their way, Patriot Act's way of saying thank you. This knife normally retails for $70, but right now you can get it just for the cost of shipping, which I believe is like $12 or $13. Might be a little bit more because of gas right now, maybe $14. But just scan the QR code right there on your screen to apply your 100% off coupon and claim your knife today before they're all gone. It's a really nice knife, as you can see. It's weighted, it's strong, sharp as anything, sharp as any get out. It's got a quick action open, which I'm not going to use so I don't cut myself. It's got a window breaker right there. It has a seat belt cutter already built in. As you see, it was in short distance from where I'm sitting. I use this for everything. Opening boxes, all kinds of stuff. So if you'd like it, go ahead and just go to QR code. They don't have a website open on it right now, so I guess they're trying to track things from the QR code. So just go right there and get your free Trump red knife. All you will be paying is shipping. I'll be back in 90 seconds.
back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so I just want to jump in and give you a couple quick updates before I go to today's event in the pond there. Not the pond, Mother's Day in the Rose Garden. 2 more states have completed their evisceration of the Democrats. Breaking, Alabama lawmakers have just passed a measure that paves the way for a red 2026 redistricting map. So Alabama's getting on board. Democrat melted down seconds before the Southern MAGA Republicans played hardball and approved it right in his face. Incredible win streak going on right now. This plan passed today allows for new U.S. House primaries, and if courts allow the state to fully redraw thanks to the Supreme Court Calais, Louisiana's decision. So now Alabama's getting into it. In addition to Alabama, this just happened about 20 minutes ago. You need to check this out. Ron DeSantis announces that the Florida Republican +4 congressional map is expected to be upheld in the courts, which would be yet another stunning blow to the libtards and Hakeem Jeffries. The new map addresses the constitutional deficiency and recognizes that the state has changed a lot in a short period of time. At the end of the day, will be upheld. It was a good job that was done, and it was appropriate. Make it happen. So what you're seeing happen is some of these states are now looking at what the other states are doing, following what the Supreme Court has said, adjusting, make sure all the language is correct so it can't be challenged, and they're going for it. This was Ron DeSantis earlier.
But I know at the end of the day, we'll be upheld. I think that it was a good job that was done, and it was appropriate, not only because you did have an unconstitutional district and there did need to be redraw, but this is a different state than it was 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, we've netted 2 million people since the census. That has caused issues in terms of how these districts were organized before. You'd have one district would vote this much, one this. So I think the new map really addresses the constitutional deficiency, but then also just recognizes that the state has changed a lot in a very short period of time. And look, you know, some people tell me, Governor, stop bringing all these people here. There's too many. I'm not bringing anybody. Understand, it's a free country. If you want to move from Miami to Portland, I don't know why you would, but if you did, you have a right to do it. Portland can't stop you. Oregon can't stop you. If people want to come here, they don't have to check with me. As a U.S. citizen, you have a right to go anywhere in the country you want. But it just so happens that a lot of people have decided, to come here over the years.
Why don't we sit down?
Oops, wait a second. I got to show you this. Hold on. Let me see if I can. I can't freeze it. Yeah, I can. Hold on.
I know at the end of the
Look at that map. That map is like, well, almost all red, except for a blue county up in the north central Florida, and then a couple of counties down here with me, like Palm Beach or some things like that. But all the rest of the state, the whole state is red. Florida has pretty much secured with Ron DeSantis that we will be a red state for probably decades to come. Democrats can't even do anything about it. At this point, they should probably look to wave the white flag. It's done down here, which is why we're getting so many people down here. Let me check in with SV real quick. Hey, you got anything new with these whiners?
Well, you took 2 of my stories, but that's cool. Great minds think alike. Meanwhile, California, did you see what Newsom wrote? He's like, no vote in Tennessee, no vote in Florida, no vote in Missouri, no vote in North Carolina. Virginia's voter-approved maps thrown out. MAGA has rigged the system. Meanwhile, the comments are like, did you happen to see what's going on in the Northeast? And then one guy actually wrote really nice. He says, cry harder. Virginia's maps were thrown out because the Democrats there violated their own state constitution in the pursuit of power. What happened to nobody is above the law? I mean, it's crazy. Even they're hit with the facts and they still go FAFO,
No, they can't.
It's crazy.
Well, what do they do? Put yourself in their perspective. They have sold their people a bill of goods for so long. They have promised them that the maggots were, bad people and all. They're, I don't know how you woke up the day after Indiana and told the people who follow you that, how'd that happen? How could that possibly have happened? And so they just try to just move on, like you said before about the Epstein. They try to move on to the next thing over and over and over.
Yeah. Same
And right
playbook.
now I've got to deflect and say, don't worry about what we did in the Northeast. It's those bad people in the South, those racists down there in the South that are causing all the problems. And all their dutiful, libtardy idiots just nod their head and go along with it. And they're just going to march themselves right off a cliff.
Well, I had a good analogy I posted on my X earlier. I said, they got to come up with a different playbook. They're kind of like my New York Giants. They have the same playbook and they keep losing. So instead of just running the ball all the time, learn how to throw a pass. Do something different. That makes sense.
Think about it this way. You're one of these libtard states or governors.
Yeah.
What can you possibly do that won't alienate all the nuts in your state and be able to move more towards the center where, the real people are? You can't. You got to have your open borders. You got to treat, the transformers as, part of your base. I don't see where the pivot could possibly come.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm thinking real quickly. I mean, Spanberger, she came in, said she wasn't going to do this, and this.
Yeah.
And she's done everything against. The taxes are going up. I mean, they're going to charge you to, a tax on walking your dog. It's crazy. I don't
mean,
know.
Everything that they do is based upon taxes, newcomers, transformers, alternative lifestyles, abortion, Epstein. Okay, so what are you going to offer the American people? Obviously, none of that stuff is working. You can tell nobody wants that, or actually the majority of the country. The part of the country beyond the blue states and everything else that you could actually win. Lower taxes, never going to happen. So what do you do? There's not. I mean, they don't want to promote commerce. They don't want to promote drill. It's so funny to me is that they're all talking about gas prices, and I know it's coming. I know where it's coming with Trump. Is like, oh, we're gonna drill, baby, drill even more now because we're gonna lower gas prices. And then how do you argue against that?
Epstein.
There's
no,
no.
I mean, there is. They have nothing to argue. That's the whole point, And then, of course, they get up on the desk and they jump around. They do the little thing, I love that little meme you had on there. I mean, they screech, they howl, they jump up, they yell. They have nothing but that. It's foolish. It's foolish.
I think they all should find as many bells, towers in as many states, and go whip off their shirts and hang upside down and ring bells. I mean, I think that's all they got.
I don't think I want to see some of those people swinging like that, Barry. I don't know. That's not good.
And here's the worst part for their future. I don't think enough of people have thought about that. When they talk about the birth rates and fertility rates of Americans, I just wonder, separate that out. Tell me what the birth rate and fertility rate is of Republicans versus Democrats, because they can't grow anymore. They've told people, lop off your junk. Men can become boys. You can sleep with, that stuff. And none of them are dating. None of them are doing anything. And so how can they possibly grow more Democrats if they can't import them from other countries? These people aren't even dating. There's no thought of procreation. There's no thought of communal people coming together. And how do you build a demographic or a base that believes in your stuff if none of them are actually getting married and having kids together?
Yeah, well, I'm happy in many cases they're not doing that, but I do have some good news here. So Pete Hicks has apparently established a Pentagon task force to give pay and benefits to unvaccinated service members removed under Biden, even if they aren't returning to service.
Awesome.
So that just came out a short time ago.
Awesome.
So that's some good news for our service members.
All right, let me jump into this next section so I can keep things rolling.
All
So
right.
I can get out of here. I'll talk to you in
All
a
right,
bit.
Barry.
Why don't we sit down? We've got plenty of time, right? Special people, very special people. And I hope you like what we're doing. Did everybody get to see the Presidential Walk of Fame? Right? And you have some of your favorite presidents there, some of your least favorite presidents. Some were good, some were great, some were terrible. But that's the way life goes, right? And you notice the roses. This is a rose garden, and we added a lot of roses, I will tell you. This was a rose garden that didn't have too many roses, and if you look now, we cornered the market on roses, and you deserve them. So thank you for being with us in this beautiful spring, this gorgeous spring day. The very famous rose garden has been famous for a long time. They let it get a little bit out of control, but now it's brought back to the highest level. And you know, where you're standing or sitting right now is white stone, and that was grass. And the problem with it is you couldn't walk on it because this is built on a wetland, and the grass was always soaking wet. It didn't matter. It was always soaking wet, absolutely. And so when Brooke Rollins would get up and start making a magnificent speech, and she'd be standing in mud, and she'd say, I ruined my shoes. Her speeches would never be as good as they could have been because she was always concerned about ruining her shoes. But people would come here, women would come with the high heels, and it wasn't a pretty picture. So after about 150 years, we gave up in the grass, so we said, let's build it so we can use it. And now we have lunches here, we have dinners here, and it's nice and it's cool. The white reflects the sun, so you don't, although it does go in my eye right now, I noticed. I didn't anticipate that, but it's a great place. It's a great place, and we do news conferences, we do everything. And right up here, you probably noticed the new black granite, and it's been so well received, people can't even believe it because the stones were all broken and really in bad disrepair, and it's really become great. And we added the pictures of the presidents from George Washington to a guy named Trump, and people really, they've loved it. We call it the Presidential Wall of Fame or Walk of Fame. We say you could call it either. Do you like walk or wall? Ready? Walk, Presidential Walk of Fame. Presidential Wall of Fame. Same. That's the same. I would call that a tie. But I want to thank you all for being here. It's amazing. The weekend we celebrate Mother's Day, honoring the women who raised us and all of the wonderful mothers in our lives for millions of American families. Sunday will be filled with love and gratitude and joy. I had a great mother, by the way. And today we're honored to be joined by many strong and truly heroic moms who have stood up for their children, both in life and in a very profound loss. Very, very terrible in many, just terrible loss, many cases. And we have a lot of the greatest people on earth, angel moms. They're with us today. They're great people. They've been through so much, and I got to know so many of you during my first days of running. I got to know you and I got to love you. But we want to thank you for being here. Mother's Day, it's one of the great days. I always think so fondly of my mother. I had a wonderful mother. Among those with us this afternoon are a number of the angel moms who saw their precious children stolen from them by the open border policies of the radical left. Open borders, I call them stupid borders, not open. I call them stupid borders by stupid people that put them there. And the migrant criminals that let them pour into our country, and bad things happened. Bad things happened. 25 million people came into our country. Many of them were criminals. Many of them were murderers. They allowed them in with their open border policy of stupidity. These incredibly brave and resilient women have turned terrible tragedy into unyielding resolve, becoming advocates so that their mothers do not have to endure the same heartache that they've felt all their lives. They've felt for so long. They've raised the most beautiful child that is taken, and they've spent so many years. In many cases, I see some of you I've known you for years, and others are
unfortunately, new members of that club. And I say unfortunately, it's a sad thing. Should have never happened. Should have never happened. In their honor, we've rapidly turned the worst and most dangerous border in the history of our country into the strongest border in American history. We have no people come in during the last 11 months. We have zero. Nobody even tries to come up. You know, you used to read about the thousands of people that would pour in and they'd just come up in caravans. I think it was my name I came up with. It looked like a caravan. 25, 30,000 people pouring up. They walk through Mexico. They come from all different locations, come from all over the world, actually. But they came in through our southern border, and they'd come up and just let them walk in. They'd walk in. Nobody had any idea who they were. They were murderers. 11,888 murderers. They were allowed to come into our country. We've gotten a lot of them out. Many of them murdered more than one person. What a shame. What a disgusting shame. That people can even think that this is okay is pretty incredible. But for the past 12 months, that's been our number. And these numbers are done by people that the numbers, when I say zero, I actually mean zero. It's hard to believe, actually. But they're done by people they tend to be somewhat on the left. So they're not going to give us a fair shake. And they say that, people don't come anymore because they know they're not going to get through. So when they know they're not going to get through, they just don't come. And just on that, we save a lot of lives, because that journey up from Honduras and El Salvador and lots of other countries, or from the Congo, where they drop them there and they walk up and they come through our country. They emptied the prisons of the Congo into the area of the southern border, and then told them to just walk in because stupid Americans are going to accept you beautifully. And these were hard, mean, vicious criminals they allowed into our country. How anybody can vote for these people is hard to believe, okay? It's hard to believe. But to a friend of mine, Marianne Mendoza. Marianne, where is Marianne? Where are you, Marianne? I got to know you right from the beginning, right? And I won't ask her that, but I would often ask, is it easier with time? Because time has gone by. Marianne, no, it's not. Sadly, it's not. You always hear with time, but a lot of people say it's not easier. But you're a special woman. I've gotten to be a friend of yours. You're a special woman. What you have to go through is disgraceful. Tammy Nobles. Tammy, are you here? Tammy Nobles. Right. Does time help, Tammy? No.
No.
It used to be, time heals all wounds, right? But it doesn't.
That's a joke.
Doesn't. When you love somebody that much, it doesn't help like it should. Jacqueline Medina, a great person. Where is Jacqueline? Jacqueline, where are you? Thank you, darling. Thank you. And so many others, and I want to thank you for coming. And I don't think you've been treated properly. It's hard to believe, but the angel moms have not been treated properly. But this president treats you properly. I can't speak for others, but this one treats you properly. And we love you all, and all I can say is our hearts are out to you on Mother's Day, and you have a good Mother's Day. Go and have a good Mother's Day. In securing our border, we've also made tremendous strides in stopping the flow of illegal drugs into our country. The flood of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by 59%, and the drugs coming in by sea are down by 97%. 97%. And we're trying to figure out who the 3% are, because they are the bravest people on earth. You see how we stop them by sea. For years they'd go and catch the boat, bring them to court, they'd go in, they'd go out. By the time of the evening, they'd be back on another boat, bringing drugs in. So we gave them warning, and we don't do that anymore. We do it much more efficiently. But think of that, down by sea. A lot of them came in, about 50%. It's down 97. Now we've started a very strong. The sea was more difficult, and now we've started land, and you'll see it coming down. It's come down a lot, but you'll see it coming down. And they come through Mexico for the most part. We have a problem because the cartels rule Mexico, and nobody else. The cartels, they just rule it. And, we lose 200,000 people a year through this poison that pours into our country. So we have the sea done, meaning the ocean, waterways, pretty much done, 97%, and we're going to have the land done very soon. I want to thank the brave moms fighting the epidemic of drug addiction, and this afternoon, including Ann Funder. Ann, you here someplace? Ann Funder does a great job. Wow, good. That's a great job you do, Ann. Stephanie Rowe. Stephanie, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Behind the cameras there, Stephanie. Thank you very much. And a friend of mine, Jackie Siegel, who's a great mom, great mother. Thank you, Jackie. I've known her for a long time. She looks better now than she did 20 years ago, right? Thank you very much, Jackie. Last summer, it was my great honor to sign the Halt Fentanyl Act into law, and we'll never give up on that mission for ending the drug epidemic in America. We've come a long way, though. We've stopped massive amounts of drugs from coming in. This afternoon, we're also joined by some of the most extraordinary mothers our nation has ever produced, our cherished Gold Star moms. These are Gold Star moms. These mothers raised up children so selfless and so devoted that they volunteered to wear the uniform of our nation and laid down their lives for all of us. One of those mothers is Janice Chance. Janice? Where is Janice? Thank you. Thank you, Janice. Hi, you look great. That's a beautiful hat. Thank you, Janice. Who lost her son, Marine Captain Jesse Melton, and I heard he was an outstanding. They give me lists and they tell me about people. They said that Jesse was outstanding, Janice. They have the word outstanding. Thank you for being here. Just before he went to Afghanistan in 2008, Jesse told his mother, "Mom, I want to go change the world and make it an even better place. I want to make it a better place, Mom." Just before his 30th birthday, even though he had the day off, Jesse volunteered to take the place of a fellow Marine, and that of his brother-in-arms could be present for the birth of a daughter. That day, Jesse gave his life for our country. Jesse was struck down that day by helping somebody else. And Janice, I want to say America is a strong and free nation today because of people like your great son, and we want to thank you for being here. Thank you very much, son. I also want to express my love for the moms with us whose extraordinary heroes gave their lives in the terrorist attack at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan. I got to know you very well, very well. And these are phenomenal people. We went to a club I own in Bedminster, New Jersey, which is beautiful. They played music. They said, "You actually think he's coming out?" They said, "Yes." And I was going to do just to stop by and say hello. And we ended up listening to music for 4 hours on that beautiful night, looking at the sky, thinking about those wonderful people. Abbey Gate, very well known. Should have never happened. That should have never happened. That was incompetence by the Biden administration. So to Alice Lopez, you know that, right? Yeah, we know that. To Alicia Lopez and Paula Knaus, Self, Coral Persino, and to all of the Abbey Gate moms, we're thinking of you in this Mother's Day. And again, we had you to the White House. I was over at a very beautiful cemetery, as beautiful as they can be, but, it's a sad occasion. We went over and we paid our respects, but we lost great people that day. We shouldn't have lost any people that day. Gross incompetence. This Mother's Day, we're thinking of all of those incredible moms, and we're doing everything in our power to support them and millions of other mothers all across America. And we're blessed to have many wonderful mothers serving in this administration, including Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who's doing a phenomenal job. Thank you very much. And the first woman ever to serve as a White House Chief of Staff. She's become a legend, Susie Wiles. She's amazing. To help American families and mothers, we passed a great, big, beautiful bill, the largest tax cuts in American history. We expanded the child tax credit to $2,200 from a much lower number per child, and delivered the largest expansion of school choice in American history. We have school choice all over now. We had virtually none. Everybody loves school choice. With accounts, we have a very special thing, the Trump accounts, where we're helping families to set aside tax advantage savings for their children's future, and we are giving every American newborn child $1,000 automatically to invest and to grow over the course of their lives. And I want to thank the Dell family. It's a great family. He is amazing. She is amazing. They've done such a job on that. They put up a lot of money too. Put up $6.25 billion. That's somebody. And he started making computers on his bed in college and selling them because they were better than other computers. And I said, how did you do that? He said, well, I did it and I just never stopped. It just kept going. So go out and buy a Dell. They're great. We're also working to make it easier than ever before to start a family by lowering the price of IVF, cutting regulatory battles and barriers, and fighting to bring down the cost of living so that more Americans can pursue the dream and it's a dream of living just a good life, maybe a great life. We cut drug prices now with the most favored nations. We cut them by 70, 80, 90%. You could say 500%, 600, depending on the way you phrase the statement. But we now play, when I was here, this was a big ambition. Right at the beginning, I was able to cut them a little bit, but I didn't cut them. I cut them more than anybody else, which was a little bit, because for 28 years, drug prices and prescription drugs only went in one direction. And when I came back, we now did something that everybody said was impossible. Favored nations. We had the highest drug prices in the world by far. Now we have the lowest drug prices in the world. Can you imagine? So we cut them by 50, 60, 70%, and go out and you'll see exactly. It's one of the I think it's one of the biggest things that we've done. Drugs that were costing in London $10 for a pill would cost $130 for a pill in the United States. And now, if it's $10 or if it's $20, that's what we pay. We pay the lowest price anywhere in the world, so it's great. And the fake news doesn't want to write about it, but that's why I talk about it, because we have no choice. We have to. So I just want to, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's so important. We do things like we keep men out of women's sports, a very popular issue. We stopped transgender mutilization of your children for everyone. We don't have that. But I want to thank every single mother here this afternoon and all across our nation for your work every single day. America's moms are really raising the future of our country, the most important. You have the most, we don't call it a job because when you love it, it's not a job, but for this purpose, you have the most important job there is in America or any place else, and you're doing an incredible job. I just want to wish you all a very happy Mother's Day. We're going to have a great Mother's Day, and for those mothers that lost their child, many of whom are with us today, the angel moms and others, Gold Star moms, we love you especially. We love you maybe even the most. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
I wanted to close with that because we're going into Mother's Day. I've got to rush and have a dinner date with arguably the most beautiful woman in the world who's watching this right now. And she's looking at her watch going, you need to get down here to Fort Lauderdale. So I got to jump out of here. I'm only going to have enough time to do like 5 minutes of the after party. Let me check in with SV. SV, I don't know if your mom is still around, but if she is, or if you got a mom in your life, I wish them a happy Mother's Day.
Appreciate that. Same to you, Barry.
Very,
Yes.
very much
Yeah.
so.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you'll
Enjoy
hear
it.
from me. You'll hear from me probably like this or something like that. I'll be taking a
All
video,
right.
and there's be a
I'll
big
look forward
jet,
to it.
be a big jet flying around behind me. All right, thank you
Cool.
very much for everything you've
See you
done
later.
this,
Say hi to
this
Robin.
week. I will for sure. And hope you guys, if your moms are around or if your grandmoms are around, you go ahead and take them out and do something and have some fun with them this week. Let me do super chats very quickly so I can hit the road here. Let's see here. Pekovsky, thank you. Maximum should be excellent public schools. Chiosop, Abigail regrets adding such a high tax on Vaseline. Abigail Spanberger. Pekovsky again. Chocolate raspberry gelato for my soul. Oh my goodness. C. Mills, magic bionic elbow smash. Chiosop, GOP let Dems blow 76 million. I've heard estimates as high as 100 million that they blew on trying to redistrict. Can you imagine that? Wow, that's absolutely nuts. Mr. Fisher or Miss Fisher, Dems also know as insane only won 13% of all counties in 2024. They shouldn't be holding more than 25 seats anyway. You're absolutely right. I think a lot of people forget that. They didn't win hardly anywhere in the country. It shouldn't, that's why they're pushing for the electoral vote. But then again, Trump won that too. Chiosop again, thank you, brother. They have Obama, Timu Obama, and now EBT Obama, and Starmer and the commies. Yep, you can't forget about them. They're big losers in all of this as well. All part of the deep state. Paul Phillips, thank you. Christina, well, speaking about armories, BTO said it best. You ain't seen nothing yet. I've seen your uncle's armory. That's I wouldn't want to be kicking in the door at his house. That's for sure. Mr. Mike, the live nuts say they're just getting started. Didn't Iran say the same thing? Huh, exactly. Keep up the good work, Barry. Yeah, they did say that. Hey, John, Indiana shot across the bow to rhinos. Yeah, watch how many of them begin falling in line right now. They can't stand up against the MAGA. Pekovsky, need a super large BS filter for sure. Phelps, thank you. Some call me Tim. I'm happy you're winning and MAGA is established as across the country's legislation systems. We need to continue to not let up and keep fighting. That's what I'm saying. Just keep pushing. Yes, we'll take the winning, but we just want to rub it in your face at this point. Chiosop again, Trump is in control everywhere, all the time. Good saying that. Inspired life. I truly appreciate Barry with the entire Fanfare family of patriots here. Keep standing strong. I am right with you. May God continue to bless you and family and love you all. And that's how we feel for everybody here. I know there's a lot of women here. If you're a mom or a grandma, let me be not the first, but somebody who wishes all of you a fantastic Mother's Day. And if you're alone, that's pretty much why I want to do something on Sunday when I get back, so people can have some people to talk to. Mark, MAGA theme song. We're not going to take it. That was actually the theme song before, what's his name? Dee Snider went crazy. I remember seeing an event with Don Jr. and Laura Trump and, Ivanka. They're all there singing, and Dee Snider was in his full garb, and that was perfect. And then he got his arm bent as well, and he I don't support this MAGA stuff. All right, then that's fine. Step off. We don't care. We don't care. We're winning. We're winning.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
All right, everybody. I will see you sometime over the weekend, whether it's with the GoPro, the phone, or whatever. And then I'm not sure at what time Robin and I get back Sunday night from the air show. I can't wait to see how many people are out there. I mean, they said if the weather is good, they may expect anywhere between 500 to 750,000 people. You know, all the people, who are stuck at home. Have a good one. Great Friday night. Stay safe. I'll talk to you guys very soon.